Hello everybody and welcome to another Total Annihilation replay. I have to apologize for the long absence. It has been harvest season for me, and so I've been quite busy with yet another one of my projects that I have, my side business of making wine. So now that the crop is in and the season is cooling off, I will have a little bit more time to produce high quality content for all those who so richly deserve it on the internet. So here we have a OTA game between two of the later experts of the game. We have over here in red playing Arm, we have Med, aka Med Mode, formerly of GG Clan, and here representing Team France, the king of Total Annihilation France, Med himself. And then here on the left we have one of the best players ever, Mr. Ace Jackson X. And Jack is a fantastic player, and he got even better after this point. This game was played in March of 2008, and here they are both playing Arm and playing Red Hot Lava, which is not a particularly common map. You can see some of the players, they're discussing the imbalances. You can see there's a rock right here. It's really, really close, and that's a big 150 metal rock. Now, this side has 150 metal rock, but it's way up here. So both are noting that wind, in fact, does suck here, which it does. So in a way, this map plays very similar to another map of a similar size called Full Moon. The start positions are about the same. The metal distribution is about the same, except here there are geos. And some of the obstacles are the lava here. The advantage of lava versus these hills is these hills will sometimes block missiles, projectiles, that sort of thing. Whereas lava is just a barrier. You can't shoot. You can shoot over it, but you can't drive over it. The game doesn't let you go into it and just melt yourself. So you can see Med's gone 3 solars, 3 mexes to his vehicle plant and is cranking out some Jeffies, whereas Jackson quickly pushed out a con, didn't do any kind of missile towers or anything like that, went and grabbed that close rock as dropping a mex, and he will likely return his commander down here to assist. We'll get going in the early stages. This is a long one here, as these two go toe to toe. Jeffy's coming in. Jackson doesn't have a radar up, so he doesn't know it's coming. Nutrients is one of the players commenting about some women that he apparently has been thinking of. However, I think he's been told no F11, please. Nice little job by Med over here. Grabs a mex. You can see how it leaves this little wreck, 15 metal wreck. Med didn't want Jack to get that 15 metal, so he drove the Jeffy on top of this. So when it was destroyed by the missile tower, it didn't leave anything at all. 15 metal is going to make or break this game. Really, it's at this stage in the game. You don't have that much to do, so microing a Jeffy to deny your opponent a small wreck is worthwhile. So Med's got 1 construction unit out, and he is moving it south to reclaim rocks. Jackson's got 2, so he's got a little bit more build power, but he doesn't have any units out, whereas Med's already sitting on 4 or 5 flashes now. He's got the con up north, and he's quickly capping these +2, skipping the 1.7s and the 0.8s in favor of something that's going to give him a little bit more metal income. See, it pays off. He's at 8.6, Med's at 6.1. So even though Med put these flashes out sooner, Jackson's able to meet it with equal force, plus that missile tower pouring on a little extra damage. Med does find this naked con on the top side. Jackson's strictly playing defense at this point. He arrives by it, and Med goes up a con. Takes out a mex. You can see again, he parks the flash. He knows it's going down. Tries to take out that solar, parks it on the metal extractor. It does not leave a wreck. That is 85 metal that has been denied. And what looks like Med just really doesn't want this metal extractor to stay alive. Once again, it goes down. That's a +2, so that's going to deny Jack a little bit more of resources as well. So typically when I do reclaiming, with construction units and I'm sending them out, I will have them drop a radar tower too. And that's really an important part of like defending against the flash rush, is knowing where the flashes are coming from. Because if you just have flashes yourself, you want to be able to intercept. And one of the things too is when you pick them up on radar, you can't just say, oh, you go right here, because that's where they are currently. You have to kind of figure out where they're going, and then you have to go to an interception point. So you can see Med driving up at this point to meet. Although it looks like actually he's turned them around. Yeah, so there he goes. He drives them up. So this con backing off. You can see he ran that construction unit away. Med catches another con out. Just a single, nothing defending other than a single missile tower, 2 missile towers. Jack runs this con away, so Med's up 2 cons at this point. Some scouting and Jeffy raiding tags a metal extractor, and he also finds a con. He's got 3, 4 Jeffies here. Med taking down missile towers, taking down metal extractors. Oops, I didn't mean to go below normal. Nice job by Med. He defends from the 4 Jeffies. I think I done the math at one point, or experimenting with it. I think it takes just 4 weasels to bring down a flash in a straight-up fight. So if he had brought those Jeffies and gone straight for the flash, he might have been able to kill it. You can see it's pretty weak at this point. About 75% of its health is gone. It's kind of a desperation thing, but had he gotten that flash, he might have been in position to get the con too. But
because Jack
knows that the con is down there, he's sending down some flash to try and clean it up. Med's con up north is still alive. Med has yet to drop a construction unit, whereas Jack is down too. More excellent rating by Med here. Just really in the right place at the right time. You can see Jackson's kind of expanding up here, but he doesn't have a radar. His radar was down here. So he's close to the edge of radar range. And that really seems to cost him as far as the expansion up there. Finally finishes off that solar. And drops the rest of the flashes. It's a decent amount of wrecks for Jackson to clean up. At this point, we are 10 minutes into the game, and Jackson is actually up on metal by about, well, it says about 1,000, but it's probably a little less than that. Now, if you have the flash still on maneuver, it still may try to move off of the metal spot once you park it on there. So one of the things, if you're really being careful and you want to make sure your flash dies in the spot you send it to, you can set it to hold position. Jack's still on a 1K lead. Jackson's put out a few Samsons. Again, good territory control. They are actually pretty good at responding to flash raids. They're not as fast as flashes, but if you get enough of them in a pack, you can start to take down flashes without taking serious losses yourself. Jackson, seeing he's outnumbered, he goes ahead and pulls those flashes back. Med gives chase. Now, it's always dangerous to give chase because all he needs to do is reroute from the factory, and his flash group can get bigger as it runs away, while yours has to stay the same size at best. So Med wisely chooses not to continue to pursue. You can see some reinforcements coming up here. More construction units. Med's got an idle one that he just cranked out, and he's going to go ahead and put down some solars. This is right about the right amount of missile units, as long as he doesn't pull these away. If he keeps them with the missile towers, to be able to defend against those flashes. Now moving them forward at that point, that's a mistake. They're going to get surrounded and killed. Always run away with your Samsons and your slashers. Expertly defended by Jackson right there. He manages to keep the construction unit alive. You see, he pulled them down, moves them closer to the missile tower defenses that he has. So Med wisely chooses to proceed on through. You see here the territory, there's this, Med's got a more secure south, Jackson has a slightly more secure south. It's a little bit porous, he's got some flashes running through. Again, still keeping the pressure, trying to tag this con, manages to get away. Taking out radars is worth your time for the most part, although I wouldn't trade 4 flashes for it typically. Although, who am I kidding? I wouldn't build flashes because I play core. Although there have been games of me where I've played ARM. Maybe you won't ever get to see any of them, though, because of course it never happened. Med's expansion up north, very, very light on defenses. You can see he's a lot more porky down here in the south. Missile towers, he's got 2 cons building up defenses. I don't know if Jackson can just kind of smell what Med has up there. You can see he doesn't have any radar up there. Samson's behind the flashes. That is the correct use. A little harassment right there. That makes you either retreat your flashes or commit them to the attack. So now Med has this up on radar. He recognizes that he is outnumbered. He's running his flashes, but he forgot to run the con. There it goes. Gets away just in the next time. You see he sends in his flashes there. The only reason why I bet Med did that, knowing they were outnumbered, was just to jam them up long enough so that the construction unit can get away. And get away it does. Jackson turns his attention south, but he manages to find a con with a single missile tower defending it and gets his first one of the game. Just quiet building down in the south. Missile towers just control the territory. Nice job by Jackson. Splits up the flashes at the opportune time. Gets the mexes, gets all 3. And now Med's expansion, which formerly covered this area up here, is now just down to a single construction unit building a missile tower. That really helps even the playing field here. You can see they're both sitting around 18 metal. Med is showing up by 1k at this point. He's had been mostly unmolested in the bottom right. And now his commander has walked up front, and he's got multiple factories going. Jackson is still using a com-guarded single factory, and he's putting up a geo. No geo yet for Med. He's relying on solars. Geos are the most efficient energy source in the game, but they take a decent amount of investment. So we're going to test my TA knowledge. Yeah, so 520. So it's about as much as a factory to put up a geo. Nice job by Med. Med's built a little too close to the front line here. You can see he's dark on radar, so he actually doesn't see that stuff. I know he actually did put a radar up there, but then Jackson managed to shoot it down with the missile tower. Bringing in flashes here to try and clear it out. Jackson countering with his own flashes, not enough, and looks like once again this metal extractor will be paying the price. Down it goes. So you can see how getting your con to survive, even if you completely abandoned an almost finished unit, it really, really helps you out. This construction unit got away, doesn't have anything defending it. It's already built a metal extractor, radar, and a missile tower, and it's cleaning up a decent amount of wreckage for Med too. Knowing that simply the sheer amount of missile towers that Med has here, he is going to try and break through that with the Guardian. On maps like this, where their avenues of attack are narrow, kind of bottled up by obstacles, and there's heavy-duty missile tower force, this is a decent way to plow them down. See, Med again built his radar further forward. That seems to be something he tends to do that Jackson doesn't. But he manages to lose it to a missile tower barrage. Jackson raiding up again in the north. You can see this construction unit is running away. He's going to head for the corner and try and escape. What I did miss actually earlier was Jackson did the exact same thing. He ran this con to the top left to get it away from Med, and just set it in the corner, and it did get away. So Jackson knows that a con might be running away to get into the corner, because he just did the same trick himself just about a minute ago. Sure enough, he finds the con and manages to bag another one. The Guardian is up, but is currently busy shooting this rock. He sees what's going on, and he switches targets. So now here we have 2 factories and a whole bunch of missile towers, all within range of this brand new Guardian, which is just shelling away for free. Jackson around 20, Met around 20. They're both somewhat even, really shaky control of their top half, and really solid control of the bottom. Jackson's a little pushed a little further forward, and he has some decent metal extractor spots to show for it. Med quickly reclaims that before it dies, so now he's got plenty of metal to try and finish a Guardian of his own. He reclaims a second lab that's also in range. Nice job by Med, doesn't take any serious loss other than loss of the build time. And he's got enough metal to quickly crank out a Guardian, while Jackson's Guardian is busy punishing that rock again. His comm is here ready to guard it. He just needs to find it, the enemy Guardian, and he's ready to open fire. So he's also building a heavy laser tower. He intends to hold that in place. Jackson intends to reclaim this Guardian, so you can see he's starting to reclaim it. But now he realizes, oh, wait a second, that's why he's shooting his own. But he doesn't stop it in time. You can see we just sent that con to repair it. So Med wins a free Guardian war, just because he got his Guardian up right as Jackson was reclaiming his. More fight over control of the top. Med's Guardian can now go ahead and clear these creeping missile towers. Chaotic flash mix right here. Jackson trying to push through so he can get construction units. Now it looks like Med's going to come out on top of this one, and he's going to have more of the rec field to his name. See Med doing a great job there, staying with the pack as it's moving down. Intercept protects the con. Sees 3 of Jackson's cons quickly trying to drop down a heavy laser tower. He's not going to be able to get that done. He starts to run away. 1 con goes down. See, now Med, because he reclaimed 2 of his factories, he is down to 2, whereas Jackson's sitting high on factory heaven here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and working on a 5th. Oh, wait, no, that is 5. He's working on a 6th. It's the new baby that I have. It means I can't count anymore. Unbeknownst to Med, he has now opened the door through an attack right up the middle. So now let's take a look what's going on with the economy in the back. You can see Med has built up a bunch of solars, and now he has a geo up, and he's working on another one. Jackson with his geo up here, working another. That Idle Khan would like to go help. He used his commander to finish this geo, which was started by this con, while this one went over to go pick up some metal. So now Jackson's in really good shape. He's got more geos up than Med does at this point. Flashes are primarily the unit here, but there are a bunch of missile tower forests, so Jackson is deciding he wants to crank out Rockos. Rockos are fantastic at clearing missile tower forests. Flashes are not as good at it. Flashes get gummed up on the wreckage, and they take more shots to kill a missile tower. Whereas Rockos, as they simply walk through a missile tower forest, will just clear it. Med bringing up cons. At this point, cons are a lot more disposable, because you want to just keep on reclaiming constantly, because that's a lot of metal that's just on the ground. See, Med just sends these guys up. They're going to get a few wrecks, and then they're going to die. Naturally, of course, he wants to keep them alive. What's important is that they get the metal. Jackson clears this one down there that was building missile towers. And underneath this wall, kind of up in the north, looks like Med's finally able to fill in the back. See what he's done here, too? This is kind of a neat thing. Just using this lava as a barrier for his missile towers. So if the Flash sees it, it's got to drive all the way around before it can actually get to it. Rockos could shoot straight across, but a Flash can't. Med dropping another Guardian. He plans to get in range of that base. More flashes just kind of gumming things up. With all these wrecks too, it's a lot harder for flashes to get through. So units with a little bit more punch would be something that I prefer, or better territory control. So at this point, of course, me being core, I would have switched to slashers. You can see Med is pushing out another Guardian here. This time he's got his comm on it. I'm sorry, Jackson is. Jack's doing that. Med's really just taking advantage of this wreck field. He's got multiple cons in there, picking it up as fast as he can. Jack is smart to build this if he wants to control the wreck field. That's what he believes the Guardian will do, although he can tell us later in the comments if he tells me he was doing something different. But being aggressive and controlling that wreck field is certainly worthwhile. So I don't fault him for dropping that. Med's responding. He's building a Guardian of his own. Both pretty close range with each other. Guardian opens up, take out some flashes. Now this commander is here right now acting as a fancy point defense D-gunner. He's got a sentinel he's working on. Med is walking his comm up because he knows that this was there. It looks like he's intending to comm rush that. You can see he's still moving forward, but the missile towers and other things is just deterring him. He is retreating. His comm is under attack, targeted by the Guardian, going super low at this point. Jackson D-gunning the flashes that are coming in, trying to kill the Guardian. And he manages to get away. That is a lot of flashes that go down to Jackson's comm. His comm is still in good health. 23 kills. Med's comm tries to take cover behind this pillar. He is looking absolutely, desperately low health right now. He's bringing a con up to go ahead and repair it. Jack's trying to run out of range. Med's trying to run out of range. He's keeping an eye, keeping the pressure in. While that Guardian is busy shooting the commander, it is not clearing out this Guardian right here, even though Jackson does know about it. He thinks he has a shot to take him out, and he is right. Med is desperately low health right now. The Guardian gets done and comes online. Super low health. And now we have 3 cons versus 1 con and commander in a guard war. This Guardian is online right now, but it hasn't done anything as far as shooting anything in the base because Med is really busy. Now his attention has just got to stay focused on that. This is another thing that you see people do in guard wars. They just drive their flashes suicidally up towards it because what that can do is scout for you, so you can target the cons first, and also breaks down the nano block, especially if you can get a wreck planted right in front of it. At this point, Jackson is not nano blocking. His guard looks like it may come out on top because he's got 2 people repairing to Med's 1. Just busy repairing it. He's also got a sentinel up to protect. Med walking his con, and he's got another con coming up to reinforce this guard war. Flash is putting out a little bit of damage. Med gets his comm in front. His comm is now back to full health, half health, having been repaired. Didn't take the time to finish the job. Med finds and kills a con. And Med comes out on top of the guard war. Excellent job by Med. Jackson's guard goes down, and Med breathes a sigh of relief, and he sends his Guardian over to finish taking out the defenses. He turns his other Guardian on and starts shelling the base. Med really looking like he's in control of the territory at this point. But Jackson's missile tower destroying Rocco army is ready and is moving out. Up north, now the reason why Med's really aggressively pursuing this here is that wreck, and this stuff is worth a lot. 467 for that tower, and nearly 1,500 for that Guardian. If he can take that, that'll be a very nice prize. Nice job by Jackson here, really pushing in. Med, with all his attention focused up north, didn't have anything other than the missile towers down south, which are a perfect prey for the Roccos. He finds and uncovers the Geo. Looks like he's continuing on. Yeah, rather than taking out the Geos, he could have probably left this Rocco out of line of sight and taken out that Geo. But it looks like he was busy reinforcing it. So Med has an opportunity right now and a little bit of a break in the action to try and reinforce down there, but it looks like he's happy and content to continue his pressure down on the north side with his Guardian. He clears it out, and now he actually has a path to move forward and try and take that wreck. He's cleaning up this wreckage down here. He has a single con working down here. You can see Jackson's just got the powers and fires of industry going down here with 3 construction units, putting out more K-Bot labs for more missile tower destruction. Jack gets his Guardian up. Looks like it's built safely out of range, so really this is just more of a territory control. By having this here, he actually denies that wreck to Met. Jackson running north. He sees the forces coming in. Indeed, Met is rushing and trying to rush down that Guardian. Drops a factory. Brings the comm back down. And Jackson slinging some D-gun. Picking up the kills on 26 right now. Med catches it. Guardian going down in health. Jackson doesn't have enough energy to actually D-gun like crazy. And that flash was behind it. He didn't want to risk D-gunning it, so now he's busy trying to repair it. Med says, damn it, because he was so close to getting it. And he drives 2 flashes up, and that is enough to bring it down. Jackson loses another Guardian. At this point, Med is big time up on the Guardians, and so he is taking advantage of the lull to build an advanced vehicle plant. Jack, on the other hand, he's taking his excess metal and he's investing it down south here in K-Bot Labs and Rocco's. See, right now, Med is actually up by 10,000, and a lot of it has just come from that wreckage control. You can see they're both similar, I believe similar metal values. Med, well, it says Med at 54. That's probably, there we go, 43. That's more like it. Taking a look, you can see he's got his metal makers going. Jackson has his going too. He's got quite a few. Yeah, so it looks like Jackson's in 40. We're bouncing between 34 and 40 because he's still on energy. Med is, it says hovering around a cool 52. No, 40. That makes more sense. Okay. So they're really close on metal income at this point. But the wreckage has made quite the difference. Med's now slinging some D-gun of his own. He's fully healed. And this army is just, oh man, that's just something as an armed commander you gotta hate seeing. You know, it's also very satisfying to be on the commander side of that when you just D-gun 50 flashes. I believe I have a quote by one very famous coolnick that if given the opportunity to D-gun 50 flashes or bang Taylor Swift, he would have to think really long and hard about it. He's not sure which one he would choose. Rocco's pressing in. Met had tried to rebuild the defenses with missile towers. You can see with a single con down here, he didn't even bother trying to recap the resources. He just went straight to building missile towers. And Jackson's still moving in. He's now got a con awfully close to that geo. So you can see how as Med's been creeping on the top, Jackson's been creeping in down at the bottom. Med using Guardians and flashes, and Jackson using Rocco's on Med's mostly soft and undefended underbelly. Med finally reacts with units, and he's sending his flashes down to defend. With his advanced, rather than going resources, he is cranking out a Big Bertha. You can see once he puts out 3 advanced construction units here, first thing he does is he reclaims that advanced vehicle plant. He doesn't need that for units, because his goal is to get that Bertha, get that cannon firing, and win the game with it. Jack finally takes down that Geo, just a pair of Rocco's from that good line of sight soft spot right there. He's now got 1, 2, 3 working on a 4th K-Bot lab. The Guardians shelling. See, he's lost 1 factory to this really close-up Guardian from Med, and now it looks like he's about to go down another. See, Med brought down his flashes too close. They're getting poked by the missiles from radar targeting. Radar targeting, you used to have to use your mini-map, but now thanks to the mega map, if you wanted to play nowadays and use radar targeting, it's really easy. You just switch to mega map and click away. Flash tries to drive through Med's gauntlet here and meets all of the missile towers. This is not the way you want to go if you are Jackson and trying to attack right now. Jack has moved all his flashes south, and Med has reciprocated, although Jackson has him outnumbered, but Med also has some nice missile tower defenses. You can see he's jamming up the flashes up front with his own, providing line of sight. And the Rockos are also simultaneously attacking. Rockos aren't that great against flashes unless they're fighting retreating, similar to slashers. So this is really good move by Jack here to clog up Med's flashes with his own, and then using his Rockos to come in and push and try and take this corner down here away. Because Med is sinking 5,000, nearly 5,000, no, sorry, it's 4,100 metal into this Big Bertha. That's 4,100 metal worth of things that are not units. But the Big Bertha comes online. Med doesn't have an air plant, though, so you can see he's building one now, so that way you can see what he's shooting at. At this point, he'll take pod shots at random radar targets, because he needs to train up that Big Bertha to get it into a veteran, so that way it's a little bit more accurate. You can see as soon as how the flashes come down, Jackson starts running the Rockos away. That makes them more effective against it, and he also managed to clear out Med's Metal Makers and a pair of Geos, so that's going to slow down the fire rate of Med's Big Bertha. You can see he's dropped big time. He's down to in the 30s in the metal and around 900 energy, whereas Jackson's 1,800 and in the 40s. But Med has a Big Bertha firing away. You can see one of the things that he's doing here is he wants to clear out those Geos. He knows that those are a major source of Jackson's income. See here, flashes are running down the Rockos. You can see how fast, if they just pop up in the Rockos without any line of sight, see how quickly they take them down. Big Bertha firing away. See, he's scouting. One of the advantages of scouting here, too, you can click on these U spots, but you don't know they're dead unless you're watching or unless you see the target go down. So he scouts, he's holding down shift, and he's clicking on all the things that he wants to destroy. Jackson produces more factories to replace the ones he lost. I'm actually a little surprised he didn't go bomber or try to build some air to try and find and bomb the Big Bertha. It tends to be one of the better ways to do it, although he is fully investing down here in this attack on the bottom. You can see he's got flashes down here and his Rockos down here trying to push into Med's soft underbelly. Med is putting up a second Big Bertha. I don't really know if I like that call. I think at this point units would be what matter the most, especially since Jackson doesn't have any bombers up to make that Big Bertha irrelevant. Med sees the cons that are coming in, trying to take over. You can see Jackson being really aggressive with this building. This is something that I've seen him do in other demos. Jackson's okay sending his cons and building stuff right up on your front line. It puts his factories closer, all that kind of thing. It really makes it so that time to battle is decreased. Med's desperate on the defensive right now. Jackson has plowed through with his flashes. His Rockos are also through, cleaning up resources. It looks like even though Med is cleaning up Jack's factories with the Big Bertha, he's going to lose a factory of his own. You can see Med actually has come through, and he's finally reclaimed that Guardian wreck that was right here. Oops, I cleared that marker. He's currently still taking out Geos. One of the things, especially if you're core and you build an Intimidator, what you want to do is fire it into crowds of stuff, just so it kills something to get veteran status. So the Rocco's staying out of range, doing damage to the flashes as they walk by. There's this little area right here that Med's trying to defend, that little gap. This one is still open. Lots of metal in there to reclaim, although Jackson hasn't moved his cons up to reclaim it. There you go, he's got one right there. He's got another one going. Considering he's just cranking out factories and he's trying to win with units, he's going to need all the metal and all the help he can get, especially since his resources are dropping to this rapidly improving Big Bertha. Down goes another factory. See Jackson at this point, he's starting to run. He believes that maybe his commander has been targeted by the Big Bertha. You see that quick little cloak? All you have to do to get your commander untargeted by a Big Bertha is cloak it and uncloak it, and then it'll lose target. So you can see he got spotted again, so now he continues the cloak uncloak. Now we don't have to continue draining the energy. Med drops that factory. See, he's keeping the Rockos just out of range right here, and they are cleaning up those flashes. Nice job by Jackson. So he's got a lot of Rockos right in Med's, right in back of Med's, in the back of Med's base. Big Bertha's gone silent. Med a little short on targets after he took out the factories. And he is scouted down south. And so now he is firing down there too. His second Bertha's online. So here you go, he sees, he scouts that, and he realizes these Rockos are a serious problem. Again, just these flashes sitting still. The Rockos are able to chew them up. You see, as soon as Jackson sees that the flashes are coming from him, he starts running away. And you can see how much more effective Rockos are running away from flashes. Because the flashes have to go in a straight line towards them, so the rockets, even though they're dumbfire, they're still going to hit. There's no way to really chase down Rockos or storms and duck and weave. That right there was him shooting at a scout on the lag. As you can see, much better use of the Rockos. The Flash Army is taken out, but most of the Rockos still remain. Jackson's in decent shape right there. He is cranking out more factories. See, Jackson has an advanced con. He has produced advanced down here in the bottom left, and he's quickly cranked out a con. It looks like he intends to probably build a berth of his own. Down goes his factories, though. His unit advantage, if he can't continually reinforce them, he's going to have trouble. Even if he's controlling them better, if you still just lose them one at a time, if you're not able to replace them, they're still eventually all going to go down. Let's go Med's down here. He's just kind of circled it to remind him he needs to scout there. Or that there's stuff there for him to shoot. Hook throws missile towers acting as defense to the north side, but it looks like Med is probably done using his units on the north side. He is content to use his units to defend himself while these Berthas fire away. Jackson trying to replace the K-Bot labs. K-Bot labs go down to the Big Bertha. So at this point, the Rockos aren't being reinforced anymore at this point. He's still producing flashes out of one factory there, and then now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all in the top left corner. Those aren't going to be out of range of that Big Bertha, but Med seems to have a problem here checking corners. You can see, remember there was the con up here earlier. Now there's this down here in the bottom left. So Jackson's thinking, perhaps I can get away with these factories up here. Some shelling. You see now, Med's taken his advanced cons. They have fantastic build power, and he's got them guarding these factories. He's basically more than doubled the build speed of these factories with those cons. So you got to think of this is not just 1, 2, 3, 4. This is more like 8 or 9 factories worth of unit production. So even though Jack's got all these up here, he still doesn't have as much as Med does as far as production and flashes. If anything, it was the Rocco production that was giving him the edge. He still has this nice little force in him, and that's controlling that territory, and actually it's busy securing this bottom right for him, which he in fact is building a Big Bertha. So now Jack's got 3 corners, but his resources are suffering as a result of Med's serious Big Bertha shelling. You can see he's just taken out Geos. Don't know if I like this call by Med, but he's going to press forward with his flashes. He's going to try and take out some of these things. He's managed to soften the defense a little bit. Jackson coming in on the top side. There's a lot going on all at once here. So now, because Med sent his flashes out, Jack now knows that he can move his Rockos in, and so he does. He moves them in. They're trying to clear out units. Jackson tries to press north. All he did there was take out that Geo. It looks like, for the most part, he's going to struggle to take this territory. With Med's flashes busy down at the bottom, though, he doesn't really have that much defending other than the missile towers, but that just might be enough. Just have these heavy laser towers. I really don't think Med's going to be able to push through there. I mean, Jackson's going to be able to push through there, but... see, his Rockos are pushing up. He's going to find and nail another Geo. Or, no, looks like he's just... Oh, well, there it goes. Just one more missile. Down it goes. He's trying to use the Samsons to control the territory after he pushes forward and takes it with his flashes. It's the typical way to go, but Med has now completely broken through on the bottom side, and he's going to gut Jackson's remaining energy production and resources. Nice clean hole, but he managed to cut through. More scouting down here. That K-Bot Lab's not going to last that long. All that sound is flashes. Down goes that K-Bot Lab. So there's this pretty wide swath right here. You can see Jackson doing a good job reclaiming. Med also reclaiming, desperately just picking up the pieces of his former home. You can see his start position just completely wiped out. Jackson's start position also completely wiped out. Except for that mech. That one's back. Big Bertha's spy another factory, and it goes down too. All of Jackson's productions in the top left corner here is covered by missile towers, but it looks like now finally it has been found by his scouts. You can see both Berthas opening up in unison. Start eliminating some factories. Jackson's Big Bertha coming along. He's still got that advanced factory. He hasn't reclaimed it. Looks like there he goes. Now he does. And he's building Air 2 so he can scout once his Bertha comes online. Looks like he believes he'll be able to defend this position down here. Without his factories, though, Jackson's going to have a hard time sustaining his unit push. What you're really kind of seeing here is the Big Bertha versus unit take right here. Jackson, for a while, was fully committed to that unit push, and he was quite successful with it. Once he stalled because the Bertha was getting it, then he switched to the Big Bertha in the corner ploy. Nice job by Jackson. You can see he built these factories behind. I believe you can tag him. Excuse me. Just using radar to harass the flashes. You always got to do that. Like I said, if flashes are too close to you, tag them with a missile tower, force them to either commit or to run. Unless you don't want them to commit, then maybe leave them alone until you get a couple missile towers up. Yeah, it looks like they can kind of shoot around this just a little bit and scratch it on the top side of it. Maybe that's what's going on there. There it goes. Yeah. No. Sometimes the Big Bertha shell is weird, especially in recordings where it shows a visual hit, but it's not actually where the shot landed. TA can be weird like that. So here we have, this is kind of cleared out, so this is more no man's land. But you got Jackson kind of here on the bottom, and Med's just relegated to this top corner with that Bertha down to the bottom right, almost done. Jackson's a little worried there. And there you go, the factory goes down. So I think it's just that one that maybe they can't get. Yeah. The reclaiming con gets brought down. Med's got a bunch more resources, and the Big Bertha is up. So Jackson's ready to shoot back on his own. Sends the scout in. So Med probably seeing that right there, sees the scouts. Probably, if it were me, I'd be thinking bombers. So I'm like, I gotta find that air factory, I gotta stop him from producing bombers. So now you're gonna be scouting. That's gonna be the primary focus, is if you've got a Big Bertha, you want to protect it. Unfortunately, because it's on the south side, Med spies that Big Bertha in the corner before it even gets a single shot off. So Jackson hasn't even found it, and it's in trouble at this point. You can see he sends the cons away. I think he probably only meant to send one of them away, so he can come down man block. You can see we now have a Big Bertha war on our hands. Jackson finds Big Bertha #1, but this one is currently sitting on 35 kills. It is going to be way ahead in accuracy than our brand new virgin Big Bertha down here in the bottom right corner. You can see it takes a hit right away, and it just completely blows up. This puts Jackson in a really bad position. He recognizes it. He says, good game. And that is the end of the game. Jackson surrenders. Excellently played by Medmo. Um, yeah, that's a pretty intense game on this match, just on this map. Didn't happen that often. Most of the time, this goes down to flash back and forth. But every now and then, you'd get a game like that where it just kind of locks up, and you have two people just walking into each other's bases all about the same time. You can see resources were relatively close. Med really took off in that one section where he was just reclaiming like a madman. And then he managed to secure that lead and translate that into a Big Bertha and fire away until Jackson succumbed to the artillery barrage. So great game by both. Well played. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Make sure, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but if you want to make sure you know when I upload, that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. And I will catch you around next time. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.